Thanks. Wait, I didn't see what it said. So, I know I said this is going to be an ASMR, but I'm going to tell a quick story real quick. I have no idea why these people are even on my mind for me to be able to have such two stories, but I'm going to tell the first story that's not so, I'm going to tell the first story that I wanted to tell the first time that's not so, like, harsh or whatever. I mean, I guess, yeah, let's say harsh. So, one time I went over to someone's house for a gathering and we were going to be praying. There was going to be a few of us there praying for each other and praying for maybe worldly things, like things that were going on in the world. Oh, come on. And when I got there, first of all, before I even went, right? Because it's a day when I want to get out the house and I want to go to someone else's house so that we can meet, especially there are going to be other so-called, at the time of my thinking, like-minded people. It's always good to be around like-minded people. Come on. And with me conversating with the person who was hosting, they kind of seemed like they didn't really want me to come. Let me try to give you an example of some things that they said. So I said, hey, are you going to be having a gathering at your house today? Because I'm thinking that this is going to be a routine thing that's going to happen weekly. I mean, that's kind of what they said, but I thought I was going to be able to look forward to having to go over there. And I don't know what they said, but I think they said, oh, I can't bump them more than 3 times or something, whatever, like in the game. But I'm going to be going back and forth from the game to the story. Sorry about that. That's the way I am. All right, so they said, oh, it's just going to be a few people gathering. And I guess one of the things that happened is I had to reach out to that person instead of them saying that there's going to be a gathering and sending out that text message so that people can be aware of the thing. Like, for example, one day when it was going to be a gathering, I think the person waited until it was like 1 hour before everybody was supposed to show up. Like, if there was going to be a gathering, if you were planning the gathering or if there's going to be a gathering, can you please let me know ahead of time so I can set an alarm and get my mind right on what time I'm going to start getting ready. All this stuff, like what am I going to eat before I go? Stuff like that, so forth and so on. And so this time they didn't reach out to me. So I'm like, okay, what's up? I'm like, why does she or they do that? Why does this person do that? Oh, it runs out of time. Okay. I guess that's what they had warned me of. That's okay. And so, they told me that, oh, there's going to be a few people gathering. And I'm like, why does this person do that? That they don't let us know or let me know that there's going to be something going on over there, so forth and so on. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to show up. And then I realized I forgot that I used my transportation method that I usually get over there. My son had the scooter. So I was like, oh yeah, what time is it going to start? Because my son has a scooter. She's like, well, that's okay. You don't have to, maybe next time. And I'm like, okay. I was like, I text my son, see what time he was gonna start heading here. He was like, oh, I'm actually headed there now. So I'm like, I don't remember exactly how it went, but it clearly just looked like they didn't, well, she or the person didn't want me to come. Wasn't really enthused about me showing up. So I said something like on the terms of, there's like, well, maybe next time. And then it was like, but anytime you want to come, then you're welcome to come. And I'm like, okay. Well, I should be coming because this. And I think that was my turning point when I'm saying, okay, I don't remember how it went. It just was a little odd to me the way that it was going, because it seemed like they just did not want me to come. And so, to me, it seemed like that. I guess because why didn't you tell me that it was going to happen before 5 o'clock or whatnot? I don't know how that went. I'm sure if I read the text messages, I'll get a better understanding of like how I was gonna go, how I was, what was on my mind at that time. So I got there, and the first thing that happened is it seemed, not saying it happened, it just seemed like, you know how you can always tell when somebody's talking about you? So, Espresso, get off of me. I don't know what your problem is. You got food, you got water. Go away. And so, I am sitting over there, and not the host, the next person, only 3 of us, mind you, that ended up coming or that was there. And the next person, not the host, says to me, kind of gives me an introduction on what's going to happen here at this gathering, and that they want to make sure that everyone is praying and everyone is engaged in the prayer, and that there's no playing going on. So I'm like, wait, hold on. First of all, I'm an adult. I'm a grown woman. I'm not a child. So what do you, so what do you mean by there's no playing? There's not going to be any playing. And then I thought about the simple fact that I like to joke around sometimes. I like to joke around sometimes. A lot of the times on my own and with my kids. But sometimes I might push myself to throw out a joke every now and then when I'm with people that are not used to me, that I'm not used to, that I'm not, you know what I mean? But for the most part, I do like to have fun and laugh and stuff like that, for the most part. So I thought about this last time when I was at the gathering with this person, not the host. What ended up happening was this person always seems like they're really serious all the time. I don't know if it's because they're going through something or if that's just their personality or whatnot. But I made a joke that they didn't really seem like they thought it was funny, because we were like, they said something. They said, turn the music down. And I said, they said, turn the music down. I don't want to disturb the neighbors. And I said, let the neighbors worship too. And get off of me. And I figured that that's what the next person, might have been talking about. Oh, let's just be serious while we're praying. Like, who plays with the Lord? What do you mean? You said this. I understand the assignment. We're going to be sitting up praying. I'm a full-grown adult. We're going to be in prayer the most of the time that we're here. It's not a Bible study how I would like it to be, but we're going to pray. Let's see how I can be edified. Let's see how this can build me in any way. So yeah, no, it did take me out my comfort zone. I'm not used to praying in front of people, just to myself or with my kids and stuff like that, because that's who I'm mostly with, myself and my kids. So, the next thing that I knew was that there was supposed to be someone on the phone. I'm giving a lot of information. So if the person was to ever see this video, they'd know exactly who I'm talking about. And I didn't want that to happen. I wanted them to be a little bit sketchy. Like, could they be talking about me? Maybe not. Maybe not. But no, this is clearly, I'm talking about this situation. So, there was supposed to be someone on the line. So it was going to be similar to a prayer line. And I don't know how it was going to work. I'm thinking that it's going to be something similar to a prayer line, because they couldn't be there at the time. And one of us was going to we all knew her. So one of us was going to have her on the line. I didn't know this until one of them said it, but they started talking about how they didn't want to call this person. And I'm like, why not? What do you mean? Why don't you want to call this person? And they go further to say why they don't want to call the person is because they don't stop talking. You know that they are going to be praying, something like that. They said something like that on the lines where, if we call them, they're just going to keep going. You know how they are. And I was like, ooh. And I'm like, what you mean? She gonna in my mind, I'm like, what you mean? She gonna have us covered? Maybe things that we forgot to say. She gonna have us covered. Um, what you mean? But I'm like, ooh. And then they made the decision that they was not going to call her. And I was like, what is this? I was like, ooh. And that kind of gave me a confirmation. That gave me a confirmation, not kind of. That gave me a good percentage of a confirmation that they were talking about me. My mother always told me, if someone talks about the next person, surely they're talking about you too. Obviously, I didn't expect it to happen simultaneously. I can't get these sheep out of here. I can't. What am I supposed to do? And that gave me a confirmation that they were talking about me. And when they made the decision not to call this person, I was like, ooh, I'm like, okay. Okay. All right. So we did prayer time, and like I said, the situation did, because, I'm not used to talking like that. I'm not used to, like, for example, right now my mouth is getting really dry. I'm not used to talking, and I'm not used to expressing myself in front of people like that. So I ended up actually jumping out of my comfort zone and getting in the nitty-gritty of that prayer session. And I really appreciate that. But after the prayer, they was like, okay, let's call them this and that, da 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 da. And I found out that this person that was supposed to be on the prayer line had been calling them, whether it was the host or that other person, trying to get in touch with them while we were in prayer. And I'm like, we need to be praying for ourselves. Like, we need to be praying, I can't get through this. We need to be praying for ourselves. Like, I need to pray for you. I need to pray for you. And then, like, are you serious? It's not, I don't think it's that serious of a big deal. Like, I know that they're gonna go on praying, that they're a prayer warrior. I know that for sure. But, like, guys, we're talking about prayer here. We're not talking about just yapping. And so I was like, ooh. So they finally called the person after the prayer session ended. And they was like, one of them, the host was like, oh, I'm sorry, the phone was in the next room. And I'm gonna give it to him, because the phone was in the next room. I know that the phone was in the next room, but if I'm not mistaken, I know that I think I remember them knowing that the person she called, the person that was supposed to be on the prayer line, called before we started the prayer. If I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna give him that, because I don't remember that part, but it was just some white lies being told there. Like, it was like, oh, they didn't say, I didn't see your call. They just said, one of them said the phone was in the next room, and it was. But like I said, I'm quite certain that by time they purposely decided before we started the prayer session, they purposely, whatever the situation ended up being with the phone being in the room, I know that they went and got the phone. So they had the phone. They had very much, they were very much well aware of knowing to give this person a ring-a-ding to join the prayer session. But they didn't want to give them a ring-a-ding. That's not what they said to her, though. They kind of said that it kind of made excuses. And I was like, oh, I said, I ain't coming over here no more. I thought I had myself a little outlet. And so I think because of the simple fact that I seemingly dropped names, I basically dropped names. I am not going to go forward. I pretty much dropped names. I'm not going forward with the other story. Just gonna get back into the ASMR. Because I gotta be careful on here. Like, if I know that just because I think that someone will never watch my video doesn't mean that they're never gonna watch my video. Like that video that I didn't post it yet. Okay. I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna post that video that I just mentioned just now today. I'll post it today. Like I dropped names in that post, but I haven't spoken to that person in, how old am I? In more than 20 years, if you ask me, because, yeah, no, I haven't spoken or seen that person in more than 20 years. Back to the ASMR. Okay, let me get back to the story. I'm sorry, 1 second. So you're probably wondering what I told you that story for. Like, what am I telling you that story for? I mean, I think that that story has to deal with using my discernment. I used my discernment, and I also used I used my discernment, and I also used um I'm gonna say discernment because I don't know how to tie the simple fact that I've made a conscious decision to not go and involve myself with that group again. I respect it. No, do I respect it? Do I respect the simple fact that they tried to give? I'm not talking about you behind your back, like what they did to the girl that was supposed to be on the prayer line. Do I respect that? Um, no, no, I don't respect that at all. Because if the person towards them during this time, why is that one about to blow up? Oh, because it's based on the rule. I don't know why that one's about to blow up, but oh, I can't bump into something again. I think that's gonna be out of the question in a few minutes because I've got absolutely nowhere else to go. So it deals with having to use discernment with and know what's going on around you without being fully aware of what's going on around you. God will allow you to see certain things according a bit off of your discernment, based off of just using His word and so forth and so on like that. I don't know why that one's about to blow up. I have absolutely no idea. Yeah, I know. So, if you rewatch this video and happen to understand what else was going on here, the jewels, the gems that come out of this story. So I said I used my discernment to know what was going on, and also I'm using my discernment to know not to be involved in that situation, that group again. If you know what else kind of gems that got out of that story, then be a dear. And how long have I been live? Be a dear and go ahead and let me know.